throws for a minute, which, especially when we're doing full throws, our learning capacity or our best area to learn in and not fatigue ourselves, be able to take lots of throws is probably in the 70 to 85-90% range, which literally means 100-foot throw, you should be throwing or putting cones out at a range. Sometimes I'll tighten up the range for certain events, certain throws. If I really want to focus on a certain area, you can play around in this. You can get really in depth. There's tons of research on all this, but not really a lot of research with Highland Games specifically, because there's so many events in that. So keep it simple. Put it in a 10-foot range or so within that, and every throw should go within that range. Usually I'll do at least 5 to 10 throws just to develop that range and feel. And it's usually based on your PR. It could be if you're throwing relatively within the same range for your season, but say you threw 2 years ago, you threw 120 feet with the hammer, but now, like for me, coming back from an injury, for a while it was just like 110 would be my average range or something too. So I have to change that range, not based on my PR, it's more my PR for that day. So that's kind of worth making a note of too. So again, don't get overcomplicated with this. Take, roughly 20% off, so 80 feet. Plant the cone there for 70 to 80 or something, and that's ridiculously light for a lot of people and hard to plant that in that range and look smooth doing. A lot of people will take these real fast ones like, oh, I gotta back up, and they'll dump it and not really finish it, or they'll be so slow and be like, oh, I gotta crank on it. That's hard to find that. So I like to start the practice. You can do kind of waves of ranges, like 3 throws range, 1 throw full on, different systems too. I've found what works for me, simplifies it, is to get all my volume in and then kind of treat myself at the end, do it kind of games like, sometimes it's just 2, sometimes maybe 5 or 6 throws. If I'm greedy, maybe I'll keep going for, if I'm at a new PR level or something. Just you set a new PR, a practice PR, because I tend to throw, 5 to 10 feet farther on my hammer in games, which that's a good thing we could talk about in itself too. If you're throwing farther in practice than you are in games, we should probably do some psychological stuff to talk about, getting your game mode on and stuff too, and maybe just how you're practicing, setting up your practices and things too. So combination of things. Bottom line, just put those cones out, and you should be able to hit that ideally easier and easier every time. Just smooth, like what I saw, some real good things with those single wind drills. Be able to just open up, boom, hit that. You could set ranges with the single winds even. Just puts a different focus, gets you to back off, especially when you're in a group of people. If you can make a point of doing that too, that's a great thing. Set that out, and it's just quality reps. So then you're focused on form, your body's gonna learn it way better. And I wish I would have done way more of that earlier on, and that's a big turning point. Getting the volume of throws, consistency, quality, all that really added up for me. And less risk of injury, it doesn't burn out your nervous system, so the list goes on and on really too. Any questions on those specifically? Take your PR, back it off. Just as a general, if we just had to say one number, I'd probably say 80%. So take 80 feet on a 100-foot throw, and you can go from there. Just take your reps into that range, smooth it out, work on maybe a few technical, mental kind of cues and components, if at all, maybe even just one. Sometimes that's enough, and just build it up from there. So,
dare I say, for those of us who haven't reached 90 yet,
so
60,
70,
80, 60, 70.
Build it up.